So what I want to do is to show you guys an idea of how to make a fish. This can be done from using you just need a piece of paper. So if you want to have a card, this fish is something that could be put on a card, for example. What we're gonna do is you're gonna need on top of the paper where you're gonna be doing, you're gonna need a magazine, or maybe what I found was an old calendar. And old calendar is especially well suited for this because you end up having normally your pictures on one side. So then when you come to cut some scales, it's quite easy to cut those scales. You literally just go at the edge and you can cut them. So you can see here I've made some. So the idea is that your scales will look a little bit like that. It's like the end of the finger. So you can, well, just try not to cut your finger if you try to use your finger as a measuring, but you literally just sort of cut around. And I'm trying to not make a mess out of everything that I've already got on the table, but there you go. So you have these pieces that are the scales. There we go. And then the next thing to do is to take your picture, take your paper, and what I've done is I ended up drawing, you can't really see it very well, but I drew a shape of a fish. And to match that shape of a fish, I did a face for the fish. So the face can literally just be, well, you can just sort of turn it into whatever shape you like it. And possibly a bit lighter color, but not necessarily. And you just draw an eye there. And in the other end, what you're gonna need is you're gonna need the fish tail. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start building. Whoops, that is sticky. We're gonna start building the fish from that end. So we're gonna start from the back end. So what I would do is just put the glue here and stick that on. And that means that we still have this end of it that can move. It can sort of give a little bit of life to what it is that you're doing. There we go. And then little by little, because you've got this fish shape here, what we're going to start doing is we're going to start building the fish. So because I've selected quite a light colored fish tail, what I will do is I'll start sort of putting these a little bit darker scales here at the bottom end. And the idea is that you follow the shape of the fish with those scales, and make sure that you put again the glue in the other end so that your scales can just sort of hang free like that. There's a little bit of life in there. And again, we're doing the same there. So here at the bottom end, you are gonna have, it's gonna feel a bit crowded, but that's fine. It doesn't matter too much if you end up having a little bit of gaps there. Okay, I managed to sort of pull them together, but to be honest, because we're then gonna just continue and do more layers of scales, it doesn't matter too much. If you have a little bit of gaps, those gaps will end up sort of disappearing. So what I'll do is I'm just looking at these colors, and there we go. And what I will do is I'm just gonna put those, and then we need one more. Let's go again for more beige. That looks good to me. And then we're just gonna stick these on. There we go, and sort of adjust it so that it stays in the form. If it ends up going a lot out of that, then you will end up having a fish that looks like it's got fur on. It's nice if you're going for that look, but if you're not going for that look and if you want it to look more like fish scales, then possibly it's a good idea to try and stick with that. There we go. So now we already have 2 layers of scales, and we're just going to continue doing this. until we get more of a fish shape. I think let's put some green. I've got some green. And literally, with this system, you can sort of build whatever it is that you like. So for example, if you got this could be a good card idea if you have granddads or dads who love fishing, you know. So and if you got little ones that are not that little, that they would sort of manage to put a few scales on, then this is something that they might be able to do. Or if you're an adult, you know, nothing to stop you from making somebody happy with the little fish card. So sort of suits all ages. You just need to sort of make the fish as a lot easier if you got very little kids doing this. And there we go. Let's put that there. Sort of trying to see what would be good together. You don't need to be too worried if the scales are not exactly the same. As you can see, it's the bottom end that or top end, I guess it depends a bit on where you're looking at it from, how that looks like. You can just then go and adjust. Oops, I think I'm starting to get glue in my fingers, and so I'm gonna be soon completely glued and covered in scales myself as well. Whoop, there we go. Oh, let's hope that doesn't actually happen. So there we go. You're already starting to see, and you can literally choose the color scheme that you like. And if you want to do multiple fish, I think that would be nice too. You could choose different shades. Or what I was also considering is that if you have things like crisp packets, and you got this foil on the back, something like that would actually work really well on this too. I'm wondering if I need to change that scale for a bit wider one. Yeah, I think that would fit better. Yeah, so if you got this kind of foil, I think that would work really nicely as well, because very often fish, they have this shiny look. So you will end up then having these shiny scales on the fish. There we go. I think we need a couple of more rounds for our fish. I'm trying to look some that look slightly more color. I might need to go and cut some more. There is something that's a bit more brown, just so that I can get a little bit more color. But even this, I think it actually looks quite nice, because we've got the blue background, and then we've got these scales that are reasonably light. So I think this is not too bad at all. Okay, that's a bit difficult size. Let's see what we're gonna do with that. Maybe we are gonna try to put 2 scales in there. Okay, it's good to have sort of test it first a little bit, because then you know how you're gonna be sticking these on. And I can see that in this row I can put them a bit tighter, or I need to put them a bit tighter, because otherwise I'm gonna have a really cramped space at the bottom. So let's just sort of try to avoid cramming, and sort of put them already a little bit like there on top of each other. And then there we go. Right. Oops, yep, I am definitely gluing myself into this. And these two seem actually very similar, so I think what I will do is I will change the color of one of those, and let's go for that one. And as you can see from some of these, you can sort of see what was in the picture. So in the picture there was candle, but because it gets covered here, it doesn't, you can't really tell very well that what is it that you've cut into pieces. I guess if you wanted to, you could make it from plain newspaper as well, but I think oops, now I've done against what I just told to do. So now I've actually glued that, but let's measure, let's see how it looks like. Yeah, I think I've lost the plot now. There we go. Actually, let's go for the darker one. There and there. Everything seems quite light, so I think what I'm gonna do is I am gonna cut some more of these, and this time what I will do is I'm gonna do a little bit perhaps darker. So here's the calendar that I was using. You can see that there is many different pictures here, and these actually sort of work quite well together. So let's continue cutting. I think there we go. And if you didn't hear, or if you wasn't here when I started, what I was saying is that you can sort of do this just using old magazines. I ended up using calendar, and I realized that this was quite a lucky thing that I picked up the calendar, because in calendar you got a picture and then you got another picture and another picture. So what it means that you can very easily cut these scales out. So it's not a hugely difficult task as such. I think if you've got one of those magazines and you're sort of fishing for photos, then it might be harder. But this was a good fit as such. There we go. So now we have okay, got more colorful pieces, and I think I might do 2 layers. Let's see what other colors we have. So now we've got some darker green that we haven't had before. There we go. That came in good time. And there. And I think that one. Yep. Those look good for me. So we're just gonna, oops, sorry if you feel a bit like the picture is wobbly. I ended up hitting my camera. Apologies for that. Let's just plow on. There we go. There. Yep, starting to feel sticky. But it's quite essential to have a good glue stick. I like to use these ones that are called Pritt sticks. The glue is quite sticky, and it tends to hold like longer time as well. It's not one of those sticks that you make it and then things start falling into pieces, you know, a little bit later. So at least I've had always good luck with these sticks. There we go. And then I think, are we gonna yeah, let's do one more layer because we've got enough scales. So I think then we just need to start matching that shape a bit so that it then fits the head. There we go, there we go. Let's do that. Let's put a light one in between there. Then let's put some of those green and brown, and then there's one dark, and then one more that could be a light one. There, that looks fine. And then I think we're just gonna, oops, there we go, and we're stickering again. Whoops, there we go. Okay, so I think I'm gonna pull that down a little bit so that it doesn't poke out so much. Go there, and another one, and I'm just gonna see how that goes. So far so good. So I just want to adjust the head so that the head feels, oh dear, let's put it a bit further away so that I don't end up accidentally sort of pulling it in a bit too early. we go. And you can see this lovely texture here in the fish. Makes you feel more alive. Whoops, let's cover that so that we don't end up leaving a little blue stripe there. There we go. And then there's the last one, and now I want to match it. I want to see how it looks like. So we're going to match it from there, and we're going to match it from here. And okay, that one is going to look a little bit wonks, but to be honest, I don't think it matters, because very often the fish have a little fin at this point. So I think it's going to look just fine. There we go. And like that. Yep. And then what I will do is I will add the head on top. And for the head, what I will do is I will literally just glue the whole thing. I don't want the head falling off. So here we go. There we go. And there. So I put glue everywhere. And then the thing is just to adjust the head so that it looks fine. There we go. Could have made it a bit longer from there, but to be honest, that is not too bad. There we go. And that's our... Hello. I've been so concentrated in sticking and everything that I have not followed the chat. I am so sorry. So there's Koku that says, hi back. It's lovely to have you here. And there is Toasty Beats, who's saying underrated. Okay. Do you a tip for people to watch more? Well, if you think that people like this, yes, please do let them know. I was wondering if I should be doing more crafts. I've been doing so much coloring so far. But yes, if people like crafts, I can do more crafts. So here is a fish idea. So if you've got anybody who needs a fish card, anything, loves fishes, or if you just have kids, for example, who like doing arts and crafts, here's one idea. So please feel free to use that. But yeah, we've come to the end now. It's been lovely having you around. So yeah, please tune in again, and have a lovely day. Bye.